Welcome to Fits and Facts. My name is Mo.
And my name is Shay.
Hey, Shay, girl.
Hey, my guy.
So what's the episode today?
So we're getting into our personal style and us as a stylist. And we're talking about fashion versus style. So we're going to do a little bit deep dive in Mo and Shay.
Okay, I love that.
How would you describe Mo's everyday style versus Mo when styling clients?
So I had to look up a word, and it's called eclectic.
Okay.
And I'm going to actually read what eclectic means. Because I was like, you know what? Let me just figure out what exactly my style is. Because I felt like I knew that I loved everything. And I love just dressing different ways. I know now that I'm in my 40s, I love to be more feminine and just wear dresses and all these different things. But I still dibble and dabble in like my tomboy stuff, but it's still very more on the feminine side. It's not sporty like it used to be, but I still have a little bit of that in me. But I love everything. I love goth look. I love Wednesday. I love like that type of like those dark grungy looks. Business attire, from super like avant-garde. I love just everything artsy type of look. So I have more of a eclectic style. So eclectic means a style that's mixed different influences, embrace different types of clothing from casual to formal, vintage to modern. It's all about being open to different trends and expressions in individuality. People who have a eclectic style often combine pieces that might not traditionally go together, creating a unique and personal look. This approach celebrates diversity in fashion, shows that all styles can be appreciated. That's eclectic. So I feel like that's me. I love everything. And I guess as a stylist, most of us are kind of eclectic, or we play with being a little eclectic sometimes. I feel like with my clients, I work with them in a way where I get to know them inside out and I build trust. My goal with them is to find their style. So some clients might be eclectic. Some clients might be more business casual. Some might love because they might be an artist. Like one of my artist clients, she's very artsy and, she has this look about her, very anime. So it just depends on my client. And it's all about building trust so I can pull out that amazing personal style for them, or this character if they're a music artist. So yeah.
So how do your moods influence your personal style?
So I would say, I actually wrote this when I'm gonna read it. Actually, I said yes, I do. My personal style do go with my moods. My style is based on how sexy I want to feel.
Okay, sexy.
So for me, it's all about choosing colors that makes me happy and help me stay positive. I dress according to my sexy level for today. So I ask myself, how sexy do I want to feel today? So I dress more on that. So like how I said, the tomboy, like sometimes I want to be tomboy. Right. Sometimes I just want to, and that's why I said that I want to do the other episode that we was talking about, because women, I feel like we have moods and we dress with our moods. So I feel like mine is more on a sexy scale. Where am I going? How sexy do I want to feel? Sometimes I go to the grocery store and dress do too much just because I just want to, I just want to push the baggie and just be like, look, I didn't went to a couple of stores clicking and clacking with my heels. I just want to hear my heels. Okay. I just had a moment, so my hair had just got done, my nails. So I just want to click and clack in the, so it's off my sexy scale. So I just want to say that. Yeah.
Okay. I love the clickety clack.
Yeah.
I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
I'm feeling myself.
So yeah. But yeah, I wrote that one out because I was like, how do I feel? So I feel like it's off my sexy scale. Okay. What do you think makes a stylist's personal style matter?
Ooh, this is a good one. So A stylist personal style matters because as stylists, especially when you're looking at the personal level of styling, when you're a personal stylist, it's really about building that confidence in your client and bringing their own style out. So it's important for you to know your style and have your confidence, whether that's sweatpants and
I agree.
sneakers. If that's your style, that's your style. But like you said, in a previous
Own it.
episode, own it. And that's why a stylist personal style is so important because your client looks to you to know your style to say, okay, they got me. I
Yeah.
know they can develop me, and so that's
Yeah.
why I feel
That's
like it
that
matters.
trust.
You gotta have that trust.
Yeah, because I feel like if you don't build the trust, they're not going to be honest.
Absolutely.
They're going to be like, oh, I like this. And then you put it on and you're like, this is not it. I love Law Roach like style approach with like how he does like the hero rack and all that different
yes.
stuff because it's true. Like, and then also I love that you can kind of push stuff on them because they don't know. But when you build that trust
Yes.
and you ask them all these good questions, then
Yes.
you're developing this style. So then the trust get them to gravitate to an amazing look they might not have thought of. So important.
And I think, even I have a lot of experience in personal styling, and Mo has a lot of experience in personal styling and celebrity styling. And I don't think they're too different, but I would say when it comes to celebrity styling, and you could speak more to this, is that you really thinking about their brand, right? Versus on a personal level, when you're styling someone who's like a doctor, you're really thinking about how they just show up every day and how they show up in their profession. And so I have a lot of skill set and experience in that, but I think it's the same with celebrities, is that you're looking at them they're looking at it from a brand perspective, and they have to trust you with their brand.
Yeah. And I wanted to say this too to upcoming stylists or people that are styling. You are really a fashion therapist.
Yes.
I cannot stress this enough. You are going in there to build them up to make them feel their most beautiful self. You making them uniquely them, and it's so important to speak life into your client. Yes. Like yesterday with my client, she first off, she did look beautiful, so I wasn't making nothing up, but I was just like, you look so beautiful. She told me like, you made me feel so beautiful, just showing up, not giving up on me because she had a lot going on. Being positive and just being there and doing whatever it takes. And that's what it's about. It's about getting on your knees, digging in the bag, doing whatever you got to do, but you letting them know that you're there for them and you as service. And so they can kill it. She was so positive on the stage. Her earrings, I said, yeah, I think these are it. I let her pick because I put the earrings in there. I, of course, styled it, so picked them for her. But I kind of knew she was going to pick those earrings, but it was an amazing pick. They were big on the stage. You could see them, and she just was confident. So you just want to speak that life into them.
Absolutely. So, and I think it was amazing to let her pick the earrings out of the set you picked, because that is huge of boosting their confidence and letting them know you can style yourself.
But it's about trust, because this is the first time we worked together. I talked to her, I picked her hair out, and I told her what shoe. So she had the tools because we talked. So she even picked shoes that I would have rather her wear, but it was a trust building, and since I put that in her, she was able to come up with that look, but also me adding to it by like, pick your earrings out. Because that's what it's about. You want them to feel comfortable, but you also want to know your client. I learned her in a way now. She loved hoops. But I could kind of figure that out when I was looking at all her pages. Also, the movie, the girls had hoops on. Yes. So that was her thing. The story was based on her experience that she went through. So research and doing, planning, figuring things out was important. So, yeah. Do you think that clients ever expect a stylist to look a certain way?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. When I first started out with like styling my family and friends, I had to make sure that I can prove to them that I knew how to style by styling myself, because if you look at any type of way, they're gonna be like, are you sure? Even though just because the way a stylist look does not mean they cannot style, because they have that skill set. I've seen this be done with hairdressers where people say they can't be a hairdresser, look how they wear their hair, but that's their style. And as long as you're owning your style, it doesn't have anything to do with your skill set. But yes, people want stylists to look a certain way, so that way they know I can trust you styling me. So I think yes, they.
Yeah,
answer
I
your
think
question.
you just should, just off the strength of
Absolutely.
it's your business card.
You're your brand.
Yeah, you're your brand. So that's just my personal opinion. You're gonna have moments though, and that makes you
Absolutely.
human.
Yes.
I would say, but for the most part, try.
Try.
Or do your best. Let's not say try.
Do your best.
Do your best. 'Cause I don't like that word.
Yes.
Do your best.
Do your best.
So you can look your best.
There you go.
That part.
What's the
So
format?
how would you describe Shay everyday style versus Shay when styling clients?
So Shay's everyday style is really all about elegance and boss status. I always look at myself as a boss and owning an empire and running an empire. So that's how I dress. That's why you see me in the blazers. But I also can be really comfortable, and it depends on my mood sometimes. But I would say for me as Shay, who I am, my style, and when you see me, it's Boss Lady Shay. You know, so you're gonna see me rock a blazer. You're gonna see me in a button up. You're gonna see me in like a pencil skirt and some heels. That's what I love. And I'm not huge on makeup, but if you could put me on like a good red lip, I love that. I do like to wear my makeup, but I'll have an artist do it because I'm not big on that. But that is who Shay is every day. Now, when I'm styling, it's the same thing. I like to show up as what would be my everyday style. And a lot of times my clients be like, look at you all dressed up. Yes, absolutely. Because I want you to know that I'm going to do this for you. We're going to build this confidence. And it's important too that even though I'm showing up as Shay, that the moment is not about me. So
Yeah.
I don't usually like to go super bold and crazy when I'm styling my clients or when I'm taking them shopping, because the moment is about them, you know, and it's about taking them through their own journey. But yes, I'm going to show up looking cute so they know, okay, my stylist showed up.
You got to.
Yeah.
You your brand, and I think they do look to you for this look, you know, like what are they gonna look like, and then also showing you that you have style is important. Like, this is my style,
Right.
so yeah. Okay, the next question is, how did you own your authentic? Like, how did you evolve over time? Like, your authentic style.
So it really took a lot of internal work
Okay.
for me to develop my own style, my own aesthetic, and that was loving my body shape. I haven't always been this size, but this is one of the biggest size I've been, and it came with a lot of insecurities. But I had to talk to myself like, hey, how are you going to style people? You know, how are you going to help them through their own insecurities if you can't get through your own? And so over the time, as I was doing that internal work of loving my body, understanding my body shape and what looks good on me, like, I didn't used to wear dresses. Now I have a closet filled with dresses.
Dresses one and done.
Yes. And like, I'm like, oh, I really look good. So my aesthetic started developing over that and really going, I'm a boss. You know,
Yeah.
and I tell myself that I'm a boss lady, and so that's how my style developed. It's doing the internal work. And once I loved who I was and understood who I was, I started reflecting that on the outside.
Okay. I love that. And that in dresses is one and done.
Dresses is one and done.
Yeah. I think this is on you.
What's one piece you think defines your style?
Suits or blazer. Yeah. Like, hands down, I feel like that's always been like my signature. Something that I love to wear. I love blazers. It ain't nothing like throwing it. You can dress it up or down, which is I love. Like, You could throw some tennis shoes on, nice jeans, top, blazer. Or you can dress it up. You can wear a dress under it and wear a blazer. Like, it's so many different ways. You can put them on your shoulders. It's so many ways you can slay with a blazer. And there's so many styles and cuts and lapels and yeah, it's just awesome. I love blazers. I love suits. Suits is like my favorite because it's like a one and done too, like a dress. But yeah, I would say blazers.
Yeah. And
yep.
She does it every time.
Yeah, I love blazers.
Just go check out the Met look. Just check out the Met look.
Thank you.
So how do you style yourself when you want to feel most powerful?
Suits.
Okay, suits, yes.
Suits. I would say suits. I will say I do like dresses too. Mm-hmm. But I feel like suits are like, it's like, yeah. And I love that now. I mean, I feel like it has a masculine feel to suits. I know a lot of people say, that's debatable, people say. But I do think that it is, certain things. I also will say people can wear what they want. I'm very big on that, men or women. What is it? It's like fluent or something. It's like fluid. Like I think fashion is that way, but I also think that some clothes do have like masculine and feminine, and I feel like suits are more like masculine, but it also is like businessman, is businesswoman. Like it's just assertive. It's getting it done, and that's why I like a suit. I feel like I'm taken more serious. And people see me differently when I wear a suit. So when I was younger, I loved suits because I felt like people seen me as like this, I'm going to take her serious. So, yeah.
I agree. And just if you walk down the street and you notice the difference of when you don't have a suit on versus when you have a suit on,
mm-hmm.
The looks and how people approach you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with like a red lipstick. My mentor gave me that gem about wearing a red lipstick. She was like, watch the attention, watch the difference of how people look at you, talk to you,
mm-hmm.
speak to you.
Yeah.
Same thing with your clothes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's your first introduction.
It's your first introduction.
You introduce yourself without saying hello with your clothes. So that if you don't know nothing else, you introduce yourself with your clothes before you say hello. Just saying.
I hope y'all have y'all notebooks out and write that down.
I'm just saying. My grandma used to say it all the time, but I do agree. I feel like a lot of times people really don't understand. Like, people do look at you.
Yes, they do.
And I was raised in church, so we had to wear stockings and, like, literally, like, so my grandma believed in looking a certain way. Like, Sunday's best, even though ours was Saturday best because I went to church on Saturday. But it was very much so you have to look appropriate to be addressed. And especially being a black woman, like, a lot of times people feel the way about our hair and all these different things. So just to look a certain way, you're more approachable. But I just think it should be for everybody. Look your best. People treat you differently. So that's just my opinion. What's the difference between being fashionable and being stylish from a culture or history perspective?
So this is a question that I know is very popular, and I'm sure many stylists, many designers have had to respond to this, answer this. And so for me, I'm going to take it from my perspective and throw culture and historical perspective in there. Is fashionable is when you understand luxury brands, when you understand designers, and you usually have the money to spend that. So you may see someone Gucci head to toe, Chanel head to toe. And to me, that is more fashionable. And you know the trend. It may not be just a designer, but you understand the trends and you are wearing the trend. Being stylish is you. Mm-hmm. That's personal.
Yeah.
No one can replicate that. No one can duplicate that. It is you. And only you can determine your style and only you can rock your style. Someone could try to replicate it and it will not look the same because that's not their style. And that's the difference between fashionable and being stylish for me. And we'll probably get into this a little bit later, more about how racism and classism comes into the difference between fashionable and stylish. But, being fashionable and being stylish, again, this is something that has existed for centuries, and people define it differently. But that's how I personally.
Okay, I like that. The next one. How do culture and class shape the difference between being stylish and being fashionable?
So culture and class, I'm gonna touch on how it's like for style being fashionable versus stylish. It really, a lot of it is rooted in racism and classism. And the racism part is that you have black and brown communities that weren't able to have access to luxury brands that the white wealthy community were able to do have access to, and so you're gonna see, you know, wealthy people, white wealthy people walking out with the Chanel, the Balenciaga, because these fashion houses been around for a very long
Yeah,
time.
very a
So
long
they had
time.
access to it way before we did. And that gets into also the classism part of you have to be able to afford it. And everybody couldn't afford it. And if you couldn't afford it, you didn't have access. And so especially black and brown communities, we had to learn how to be stylish because we had to take what we had access to and make it look good.
Yeah.
So if you bought $1 shirt, you made it look good.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of us culturally, we have style.
Yeah, and
we
we
understand
set trends. We set a lot of the trends. I'm gonna add something to this.
Yes.
Also, it's a lot of fashion houses that have two type of brands of
Yes, they
luxury, because when we did get to the place where we were able to buy, they had logos and all that stuff from the Dapper Dan stuff versus stuff that was more high end that you really can't even tell that it's that designer, so they can keep it away from the black culture. I'm just saying, or black and brown culture, because it became a popular thing, and then just something that was in us anyway that we wanted to look right. But if you go back to, we was talking about this with the Met Gala, with, you know, they dress their slaves to look a certain way so they can look rich.
Yes.
So that's something that's in us. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We want to look a certain way because it gives us a status and all these type of stuff. That's no matter what, the history repeats itself. Yeah. So, but yeah, you can look into it. There's a lot of brands that have two type of things, and there's one that's a little lower, and then there's one that's a little higher.
I could give
You
you
might
an
not have
example.
access to the one that's a little higher.
And I can give you an example. Giorgio Armani. You see some people with shirts that says exchange on it. The exchange is because that's the affordable part of the brand. When you see Giorgio Armani, like, oh, I'm in my Armani suit, that's the high end.
Yeah.
So when you see exchange, you see it's more affordable. Moschino does it.
Yeah.
So,
and they do it. You can go into Nordstrom's
Yes.
and see the difference.
Yes, you can.
And that's why I bring it up, because I was shopping for a client, and I had picked up one suit, and then I was like, what suit is this? Because it was cheaper, but it was still kind of on the higher end, because suits are expensive because of the tailoring of it. Then I went and picked up the same. It looked so similar. And that suit, when I say, it was like 5 times the price. And I was like, what is going on? And so the dude was like, and I had already knew this, but he was like, oh, it's the same brand, but it's a higher end brand, you know. And he didn't say anything, but I said, you ain't say no more, say less, because I already knew what he was, saying. And I had already knew that they separated it so certain people can buy, and, you know, to make it so you wouldn't see those people in that brand. That's crazy, but
and you know, fashion industry has made a lot of strides, but they have a lot of work to still do, because even when you want to talk about the Birkin bag, in order for you to even get a Birkin bag, you have to have a buying history with Hermes. How does the average person have buying history with Hermes? You have to have the money to do that. Yeah. So it's not like you could just walk into Hermes and buy a Birkin. You have to have a buying history.
Yeah.
So fashion industry still got a lot of room to grow.
But even true, Samantha, it was hard for her to get the Birkin. She was like, "What? 5 years?"
Yeah, it's hard.
It was. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how they do. Yeah.
So, Mo, tell me, what do you notice in people who are stylish but don't follow trends?
I feel like they set their own rules. I feel like they might dibble and dabble in trends because they like it. I like this trend, so I'm going to do it. But they make their own rules, and they're eclectic. They do their own thing. Like, I feel like most people that have style are eclectic. They like a little bit of everything, but they own what they like. Is my personal opinion. And I feel like people that are fashionable kind of just go straight off of trends, like, oh, this is what and it's a lot of people that do it. Just like I remember when I worked at Macy's, it used to be people that come and be like, I need this whole outfit. And I'd be like, what? I mean, the outfit was cute because it was merchandise.
Yeah.
So it was a cute outfit, but I was just like, okay, But when I merchandise, I would do different. I would get in trouble a lot, but it was cute outfits that I used to be like, you can keep it up there, but I will put like everything different.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when you buy stuff, it's the same collection.
Yeah.
So they want you to just buy up. So yeah, but yeah, that's my opinion. I think a person that breaks the rules is a person that's stylish.
Stylish.
Stylish. A person that is fashionable, go with trends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. And we're going to, wrap this up with one more question.
Okay.
How do you coach someone to find their style without relying on trends? So this is you coaching your client.
It's building trust. Like making sure that you're giving them those options and those choices, but also putting new things in there to pull them away from that. I feel like when you are building up their style, that some of that could be kind of their style, like they gravitate to. I also ask questions. Why do you like that piece? Right. What about that piece that you love? Also, I will find something that's similar that might not be as trendy, but is nice, is quality, is these different things to see if it'll gravitate them to that. So yeah, I would say, yeah, it just depends. I feel like it's building trust. You have to build trust with your client. You have to allow them to tell you what they want.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that's the best answer huge. I have. So
allow them to tell you what they want.
Yeah.
And that comes in different forms, shapes,
yes.
and sizes of what that means to allow.
Yes.
And that goes with the trust.
Yes.
Because I've had clients who will come right out and they go, okay. And I'm like, oh, no. I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to tell me, how do you feel?
Yeah.
What does it look like to you?
Yeah. And they'll tell you.
And they will tell you.
They movement, they face,
yes.
They keep pacing. Like, it's such a, it's a vibe. Yeah. It's an energy that
Yes.
So I would say that.
Picking
I think I cut you off a little bit. Did I cut you off? Oh, okay.
You're fine. This is a conversation at the end of the day. And picking up those are social cues. Mm-hmm. And Law talks about that in his course. Law Roach talks about it in his course of being able, you should be able to understand your client by looking at them because they show in their body language. Their body language speaks a lot.
Yes, I agree. Well, all right. Well, we gonna wrap this episode up. Thank you for being with Shay and Mo. I'm opposite it right now. Fits and Facts are going to be dropping every Wednesday, every week. So we'll be bringing y'all facts and fits and really bringing that history to you guys. Shay, what you got to add?
I just want to thank you again. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that button below, like, and comment because we want to hear your thoughts. Okay, this is a community conversation. So until next time.
Yes, peace.